Welcome back, my people, to the Training Diary, episode 3. Now, last episode I talked a lot about my physical health, how I'm optimizing that. But as we know, this is just one side of the coin. The mental health, the mind, is just as important because the power of the mind is so incredibly strong. So let me ask a question to you, my brother. Are you an NPC? Now, really ask yourself this. This is kind of a term that gets thrown around a lot, non-playable characters, kind of cringe. But really ask yourself, are you tapping into your truest potential? Are you setting all these goals, all these aspirations, writing all these to-do lists, but every day you find yourself scrolling again on the side of your bed? Your brain is so fried, there's always some sort of TikTok song playing in your brain, some YouTube shorts nonsense on repeat, some meme just flowing around up there. Is your complete worldview just based on whatever some guy on social media told you, whatever the algorithm decided to feed you? You just don't even have your own life experience that. You're just a side character to some dude on social media. Am I that guy to you? Please don't let that be the case, because that'd be pretty freaking weird. Well, my fellow mushy pea-brained Zoomers, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to break down how I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to forge that iron mind, build that mind palace, trying to tap into my potential. So I got those protocols which I'm going to break down. So let's dive into it. Let me not waste any time. Here is the super ultimate course to improve mental health and forge an iron mind. If you watched any self-improvement video ever, the basics, I'm not going to break it all down. We all know the drill. I want to speak specifically about what I'm doing right now. Let me break down some key aspects of the Zoomer brain that I'm going to run through in today's video. Number 1, overstressed, overly emotional, mentally weak. 2, obviously completely fried, no attention span, can't focus. 3, no original thoughts or ideas, is a complete media product. The biggest enemy of our mental health, ladies and gentlemen, is too much stress. Stress absolutely destroys our body if we have too much. So I'm going to hand over to a smart man to break this down for us.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life.
I'm Huber Andrewman, and I'm professor of neurobiology and neuroscience at Stanford School of Medicine. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that this podcast is separate from my teaching and research roles at Stanford. Stress. Stress leads to the release of cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. In the short term, this is great. Increased focus, a burst of energy. Maybe you're trying to hit a PR in the gym, giving a public speech. Maybe you're outrunning the authorities after unlicensed solicitation. Stress is our friend. However, prolonged stress or too much stress in a situation is when things begin to get ugly and start to see many negative health effects. It shrinks your brain and kills your gains. Thank you for your interest in science. Okay, that was the worst Andrew Huberman impression in existence, but for stress. Now, my impression from the content I've consumed about it is that it's all about how we perceive potentially stressful situations. It's literally just the unlimited power of the mind. Depending on how a person interprets a situation determines how their body reacts. It doesn't seem so amazing until you consider the implications. If you just literally keep hammering your mind to mold that iron, you can just keep increasing your stress tolerance until intense stuff just doesn't affect you. You can just act in the most objective, rational way possible without being affected by stress. At level 1 of stress tolerance is where all us Zoomer lizard brains start. Our stress tolerance peaks at like walking past another human. Then you can just keep going up and up until you can handle any situation with the pure power of your mind power that you've acquired. Increasing mental toughness and therefore stress tolerance can literally increase every part of our health. That's why when people say things like, oh, David Goggins is destroying his body and all that overstress and overworking, it's just rubbish. The power of his mind allows him to do all that stuff and negate the effects significantly
Obviously, it's not exactly health optimizing what he's doing. His body gets pretty messed up. But he's healthier than most people, in my opinion, purely through the power of his mind. It really just goes to show how much unlimited potential that we have. Now for the brain being fried. For anyone around my age or below, you can probably relate when I say, I don't remember a single point in my life where I didn't have some form of access to cheap dopamine from technology. First we had the Wii, then I got that 3DS, then in high school you get a phone. Now when I was little, I would say it wasn't bad. I think technology was at like a sweet spot. You don't get the absolute nuke on your dopamine system. Your parents would restrict your timing. You obviously did things in real life as well. But the problem arises when I got older and we became so hardwired to rely on this stuff. So what I'm doing now is a hard reset, and I encourage you to join me until I feel as if I can actually really lock in and focus at a high level. I'm not allowing any nonsense, not watching any friggin' business YouTube, no entertainment, no music. Now I know I'm not going to be perfect with this, so I'm going to fail sometimes, but eventually I want to get to the point where I'm just not consuming anything. I'm not ruled by any of these chains, because this overstimulation, I truly believe it's eating away at our souls. Now that sounds dramatic, but I believe this is more than just a dopamine detox. This to me is like an infection of the mind that we must heal if we want to live how God intended. If we can't even be present with our loved ones, if we can't put our butts down and do some hard focused work so we can provide for our future families, all because we can't overcome this little addiction to cheap dopamine. If that's not Satan working, then I don't know what is. Now about being a media product. Back in the good old days, you actually had to live some of your own life to form a worldview, develop some original ideas, be introspective. But alas, the Zoomer brain is not capable of such complex tasks. Now, whatever rabbit hole of the internet you fall down, your fate will be decided. Your entire belief system could be straight trash, depending on what the algorithm feeds you. Our brains as young people are so easily influenced when it comes to beliefs. At least for me personally, if I were to watch like a doomer, super negative energy video, even though I know what the ideas in that video are, it's just nonsense. It just still affects me because our brains are in this like formation stage. The negative energy just seeps in and just infects your mind. It's inevitable that we're going to get external beliefs programmed into us. So what I think is important for me at least is just to make sure to allow only positive stimulus to be impressed upon me in these forming years, instead of just letting any satanic randomness enter my mind. There's nothing that rusts an iron mind more than doomer, nihilistic belief systems and degenerate demonic music. Again, we're disconnecting from media altogether for this period at least, just trying to work on my life, experiencing life from my point of view. I think I'll gain some good perspective and connect more to my true mind.
Now, getting a bit deeper, talking about the Zoomer lizard brain, I truly believe that this is what is going to separate people in this generation apart. Like, imagine being able to harness the power of new technology that is going to come in our lifetimes. Imagine being able to harness the power of the internet without being completely ruled, completely destroyed by it, like most people are. Let's be honest, most people pretend as if they're not addicted to the internet. Like, I've seen people who I thought were on the whole CEO, entrepreneur lifestyle, doom on social media. Like, really, if we can fix this, then imagine how much of an advantage this would be in the rat race, you could say, because most people, they just truly are living life on 10 HP, 1000 ping, just lagging out most of the time. So yeah, this for me is one of the biggest priorities in the coming years, because it kind of scares me. Just imagine significant moments that are going to happen in our lives. Like, imagine just like your wedding day, or it's your first child being born, and you're just standing there, not even present, spaced out, thinking about some random meme, some random nonsense. Like, what a disgrace that would be. So I'm truly going to try break these useless dopamine chains that we are so programmed to rely on. So if you're going to join me in forging an iron mind, I'll see you at the top. We're all gonna make it. Love.